Hi guys, welcome back to the Real Mom Talk Exchange with Kenyatta Finizzi. If you have been watching my videos, then you know that this is a community for us to exchange different stories, lessons learned, anything for moms to just talk about, to vent, to just chat, to be yourself, right? No judgment zone here. So today what I want to talk about is actually an episode that I had today that was very, very terrible. It threw me for a loop. I had not dealt with it before. For those of you who have watched my videos, you know that I have a 2-year-old already with sensory issues, and then I have recently a newborn. He is 5 weeks old. See, the week thing kind of throw me off too. That's a whole nother conversation. Like, I'm just like, once it gets to the month, I'm just like, he is 1 month, he is 2 months. Like, when people are like, how many weeks are they? I don't know. Okay, I can't even think straight. Besides trying to keep up with how many weeks the baby is. Okay, but the baby is 1 month, and so I hadn't dealt with this before with my 2-year-old, and it scared me. Just scared me. Just completely scared me. So I wanted to share my story in case any other moms have went through this. If you have an opinion, if you have any lessons learned, or any new moms. Hopefully you do not go through this. So, we want to do preventative stories as well to hope, that you will not be caught off guard like I was and freaking out. So what happened was I was feeding my son on my breast today for about 20 minutes. Usually I do like 10 to 15 on one side, 10 to 15 minutes on the other side, just depending on how he is. But he always acts like he's constantly hungry, right? He's like, still hungry, still hungry, still hungry. So we've been supplementing with formula. That's gonna be a whole nother video as well, because I know there's some moms like, do not use formula. And some moms are like, only the breast. So anyway, that, like, whether you're on this side of the debate or this side of the debate, look, my baby getting fed, so I supplement with formula when it seems like he's not getting enough. So I was feeding him on the breast, and he seemed like he was still hungry. And so instead of supplementing with the formula, I was giving him the breast for about 25 to 30 minutes, right? So and he wasn't like constantly having it. He was like taking a break and then, sucking back and then having a break and then sucking back on it. So I took him, took him off, and he started shaking, like uncontrolled, like shaking, like he was having a seizure, shaking, like literally like this. And I'm literally panicking. Like, I'm yelling for my husband, I'm yelling for my mom, I'm like yelling, and nobody was at home. But I was completely out of it, completely delusional, and I didn't realize nobody was at home. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, like, it's just me. And I didn't know what was going on. So he starts shaking like this, and milk starts pouring from his nose, like pouring from his nose in his mouth. And I'm like, oh my god, my god. So I'm crying, I'm crying, I'm crying. And I was like, okay, he's still breathing, normally. I don't see him turning, blue or purple or anything that I have heard people say before, like if the baby is choking. So I'm lifting his arms, right? Because, they're saying, like, do not pat the back, like, lift the arms. So I'm lifting his arm, I'm like, please, 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 just let it pat, like, lifting his arms. So finally, he gets it all out, and he's good. Well, of course, I'm crying after. I'm holding him. My husband comes in like 10 minutes later. I'm telling him what happened. He's holding him. And of course, he gets hungry because he just spit up all this milk. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, I do not want to give him the bottle. I don't want to I'm on the phone with the pediatrician. I'm like, hey, do we need to take him to the emergency room? Like, what do we need to do? So we took him. I called. Luckily, they let us have an appointment. This was at like 11:30 ish, and then they said they could fit us in at 1:30 because they take lunch. And so, the whole time I'm just panicking. My husband's holding him. He's like, I'm gonna have to give him just a little bit of, a milk because he's freaking out. Because he's hungry. And so, of course, I'm freaking out because I don't want to give him the breast anymore. Because now I'm like, oh, I did something to him. I give it to, but I can't see how much is coming out. And, that's one thing about breastfeeding as well, is you don't know how much you're giving him. So I don't know if I'm giving him too much, or I'm thinking, oh, he's full, he's just gonna boop, pop it out. That's not always the case. And so, you know, I told my husband, well, you know, I'm not gonna starve him, so he did end up giving him some milk before we left. We went to the doctor, and she's like, "Oh, this is totally normal. I had, you know, a parent come in with the newborn this morning, and you know, if it's coming out of the nose, she said that's like a third degree acid level of acid reflux, and as long as it's not happening consistently, like every day, every time he's feeding, like that type of thing, um, then it's really not too much you can do about it." So of course I'm like, okay, you know, we just want to get the medicine or the what can I do or whatever it is. So it is hard, you know, as a mom, you're like, I really can't do anything for him. So you know, it was kind of like a catch-22. I was happy that nothing was wrong with him, but then, well, not wrong because it was, you know, but I was happy there was nothing seriously wrong with him. But I also, on the flip side, was like, okay, there's nothing I can do if it happens again, and I was terrified. So there's a couple of things that she said to do. So I hope this helps somebody out there. She said, you know, with the breast, obviously you cannot tell how long, right, that you are going to be feeding or how much they're getting. So she said just try to feed 10 to 15 minutes, period, on the breast for you know the whole feeding time, and then burp you know halfway through, and then burp again at the end, and then that would help because sometimes they could be getting air on the breast. Then she also said if we were supplementing with formula, then only give him a max of like 2 ounces. Now, mind you, he's like a month old. So as your child is getting older and you're watching this video, then that's going to change. You know, obviously, like talk to your pediatrician about that. But he's, you know, 1 month. So she said, you know, if he's getting the breast for like 10-15 minutes, then after, then if you're supplementing with formula, only give them like a max of 2 ounces, and then that's it. And then just give them the passy if they seem like they're still kind of getting a little fussy, because they should be mostly full, because she said you could be giving them more on the breast than you think you are, right? Because I don't get a lot pumping, and I'll talk about that in another video as well, because the breastfeeding journey, y'all, is a lot. It's a challenge, okay? So we'll talk about all of the challenges of breastfeeding in another video as well, because that will take a long time to talk through. But yes, so she told us to do that, and then she said if we were not, if there was a case where we were not doing the breast, which sometimes at night, like when I try to get like a little longer sleep, and when I mean longer, I mean like 4 hours of sleep, okay, which is long in the newborn world, where my husband will take him. And I don't give him the breast at all, and he gives him a bottle. Then she said, if I'm not giving the breast at all, and then you're getting the formula, then you could give formula like 4 to 5 ounces. Again, he's 1 month old, so that will change with the age and all of that, right? So that's what she said. Make sure you're burping them. The acid reflux is very common in the newborns. She said most of the newborns are going to spit up, right? So it's just levels to it. Like level up, hey, level up. Sorry, that just came in my head, y'all. So, you know, just gotta keep light of the situation, keep from crying, right? So the first level, she said, is just like normal, you know, spit up like how babies do. The second is if like they're spitting up a lot, like from the mouth still, and then the third level is going for like from their nose. She also said like if the baby can't like projectile as well, if they're spitting up across the room, that's cause for concern as well. And of course, if they are turning like blue or purple and they are not breathing, you know, of course, then that's a concern as well too. So those are the things that you have to look out for with feeding. Also, she said, of course, the burping, and then make sure you're setting them up. So obviously, if you're on the breast, I hold them football style, which, you know, I'll show y'all that in another video exactly how I do it in a couple of different ways. But she said after, you know, make sure that they're sitting up after they eat for at least 30 minutes. Okay, so I know a lot of people, you know, you get tired. You like, oh, I just, you know, they fall asleep on the boob. You like, oh, they sleep. I'm just going to lay them down. That's what I was doing. Guilty as charged. Again, no judgment here. And so she said make sure they set up at least 30 minutes. And I was doing like maybe 10 minutes max. So I'm going to try that as well and, you know, see how that goes. But Again, if you are going through that or you hadn't even heard of that and you're like, oh, dang, I didn't know, newborns do that. I had no idea they did it like that. Then hopefully this will help. If you have experienced this or you have any different lessons or you want to tell your story, please leave a note in the comments. Again, this is meant to help different moms, learn and exchange ideas. That's the whole point of our community. So please leave your comments, your thoughts, and anything else or topics that you want to talk about for next time. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, hope this has helped, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.